Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Talk here to talk about The Last of Us episode 7. So this is really based on the DLC of The Last of Us. It's called Left Behind. So it focuses on Ellie and Riley. And I love this episode because it was really faithful to the DLC. Like, compared to all the other episodes in this series, this one is actually the most faithful. So I was pretty surprised about it. Sure, I was a bit disappointed that they cut off the section where Ellie had to find medication for Joel. Because in the DLC, it's two. It focuses on two. It keeps switching between two different time periods. So there's one where Ellie met up with Riley, and they're going through this mall, trying to have fun and everything. And the other is where Ellie is trying to find medicine for Joel, and she's searching through this abandoned mall that's filled with infected and raiders. And she finally finds some medicine in a crashed helicopter. And then after that, she kills off the raiders, and then she finally gets to Joel. So that's how it was in the DLC. So here we don't have anything with her trying to get medicine for Joel. So I am surprised that it did show Joel in the beginning and end of this episode, even though yes, it did the same thing in the game. But here, yeah, it was nice to see Joel still being conscious, because he was telling Ellie to just leave him, and he was really upset that he failed and everything. So he's really urging Ellie to leave him, even though he doesn't want her to leave him. So I do like that little addition, because in the DLC, Joel was pretty much unconscious. He can't even say anything. He can't do anything. So and then it comes to the winter section in the game. So Joel was still unconscious at that point. So here we actually see Joel conscious, and he's telling Ellie to go away. I like that addition. So it mostly focuses on Ellie's life. Um, and I was a bit surprised, because I know Ashley Johnson is supposed to be in this show, and she's supposed to be Ellie's mother. And you do see a bit of this in the teaser trailers for the show. So I thought that they were gonna begin the episode with Ashley Johnson playing as Ellie's mother, but no, she was not in this episode at all. So that's why I was very, very confused. Maybe she'll show up in episode 8, but honestly, I think it might be in episode 9, because episode 9 is the finale, and I think it might make sense if that flashback with Ellie's mom would be shown in episode 9. But honestly, I thought because this is a Ellie focused episode, they would show Ellie's mom in this, but they didn't. So I thought that was a little weird. But again, maybe they'll show in episode 8, but I really think it'll be in episode 9. So they show Ellie before she goes out with Riley in this abandoned mall. She was fighting with a girl named Brenda, and then she gets in trouble, and then she talks with Captain Kwong. And I do like this little dialogue, even though some people might say it's unnecessary, like might be a little filler. And I cannot, if they cut this out, I can understand that. But still, it does flesh out the character of Ellie a bit more too, because Captain Kwong and also it makes sense for Riley's motivations later on as well, because when she explains why she had to leave, yeah, it made sense. So that's why they had to have that discussion with Captain Kwong, because Kwong said that there are two paths. You could be a grunt, just doing shit jobs with your shitty life and everything, most likely working under Brenda, or you could be a captain, you could be a leader. So he gave Ellie those two choices. And I love this little reference. It's the Naughty Dog logo on the keychain. That was beautiful. As soon as I saw that, I was like Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was like, hey, 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 hey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Woohoo! Yeah, I saw that. I was like, hey, that's the Naughty Dog logo. Oh, that was cool. So yeah, I feel like this discussion is important, especially with why Riley had to leave. So then we cut to the room where Riley finally comes into the room, and then she talks with Ellie, and she convinces Ellie that they to go out with her and investigate the mall. So yeah, a lot of this is really faithful to the game, and this episode is like 55 minutes long, not including credits. So I can understand, them cutting out the winter section with Ellie trying to find medication, and I do understand that they had to speed things up a bit more. So, they fit a lot of the DLC in this, but I didn't think that it was paced awfully. I thought the pacing was actually pretty good. But I will say this is a very low key episode. Like a lot of it was just Ellie and Riley having fun. And yes, they did that in the game. They did. But the thing about the game is that half of it was them, relaxing, while the other half is just an incredibly intense situation that Ellie is in. Because in the game, Ellie is not as strong as Joel. Ellie doesn't have the weaponry that Joel uses. So she has her knife. She has a gun with very few bullets. And she knows how to craft some items, but she doesn't have that many crafting materials. So that's why it was a very intense section in the DLC, because she has to fight the infected and the raiders, and she's just a little girl just trying to survive. So here, because we don't have that much of the intense encounters from the DLC, this one was pretty low key, like almost nothing intense really happens until the end. So I think that's why some people have a problem with this episode, because again, it's to them it feels like filler, and yes, it is DLC to the game, but I feel like it is a very, very good episode. It shows off a lot more with Ellie and her relationship with Riley. And I do like that they have almost all the references from the DLC. So they had the one where they had the photo booth, that was adorable. They had the merry-go-round, that was awesome. And they also had the video games. They did change it a bit here, because here it is Mortal Kombat 2 instead of Angel Knives from the game. And honestly, I'm okay with that, because Angel Knives is supposed to be like Mortal Kombat anyway. So yeah, it makes sense that on them, wanting to play Mortal Kombat 2, and they were showing off Melina and Baraka and everybody. So that was pretty cool. I love that. And Ellie always wanted to play a video game. So the fact that the video games actually work here, because in the TV show, they don't work. So it was great to see this change. Like Ellie finally gets to play video games and it actually works. But in the game, yeah, I understand. I do love that Ellie had to imagine her playing Angel Knives, even though the machine wasn't working. But again, I do like this change. I will say though, I kind of miss that they don't have a Jack X combat racing reference, because in the game they actually have a booth like a go kart with Jack X combat racing, but they don't have that here. I kind of wish that they actually made one. That would have been cool, and also kept the dialogue going. "Vrr, vrr, brr, 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 brr." Seriously, what kind of game has missiles? A racing car game with missiles. So I kind of wish that they had that. But that was nice. They also have the joke book. That was pretty good. The only thing they did not have is the Brickmaster scene where they're throwing bricks to destroy the windows of the cars. Man, I missed that. But again, they have the Halloween stuff too, so that worked. And the Halloween stuff is like it's like a blended with the jewel. I think it was a jewelry store or a clothing store or something like that, because there were glass displays. So they combined the two stores into one here. So they do have the Halloween store, but it has the glass displays. So Riley and Ellie can jump on top of them and dance and all that. And they were dancing with the masks this time around. I love that change. And I gotta say, Storm Reed, when I heard that she's gonna be Riley, man, I was excited, because Storm Reed, she was in a couple bad movies. I did not like A Wrinkle in Time, and there was one where she was trying. Shoot, I forgot. It's kind of similar to Frequency or something like that. Like either she died or her father died, and they're trying to save each other or something like that. Man, I forgot the I forgot what it was called. But she was great in the Suicide Squad as Deadshot's. No, 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 not Deadshot. Bloodshot. Shoot, I forgot. Idris Elba's character, his daughter. She was excellent in that, and yeah, she is great in everything I've seen, and I'm excited to watch. It's not Searching. I think it's called Missing, the new movie that came out recently where she has to try to find her mother. Yeah, I'm excited for that because she's in it. She is fantastic, and she is fantastic here as Riley. So I was happy about that. And again, Bella Ramsey still killing it as Ellie. And man, yeah, the dancing scene and her not wanting Riley to go, that got to me, man. That really got to me. It was so adorable. I loved it. Okay, so now some of the changes. Okay, so in the game, Riley did mention that she managed to stop by this mall and see that it's abandoned, and she thought it would be nice for her to grab Ellie and come over here. I think she said at the time the Fireflies thought that it was empty or something like that, but here Riley is posted here. So it's her job, her responsibility to make sure that everything is cleared. So that's the big change from the game because in the game it would make sense on the Fireflies not realizing that there were a bunch of infected still over there. So that's why there's a bunch of infected going after Ellie and Riley. But here, Riley missed one infected. And to me, that makes the most sense. If it turned out there was a whole bunch of infected people and Riley did not even know about it, that meant that she was bad at her job because she was supposed to be posted there. That's her job, you know? So that's why I understood if her missing one infected, that makes more sense than her missing a bunch of infected, you know? Because if, again, that would mean that she was bad at her job. So, and I do like that Ellie talks more about Riley being a Firefly because she sees that Riley was making pipe bombs. And Ellie confronted her about it, and she said that, oh, one of these days you're gonna use these to kill me, right? And Riley keeps telling her, no, not you, never you. So Ellie's really upset about that. And then Riley finally told Ellie the truth about why she left. And it turned out that Riley was gonna get a shit job. She was never gonna be a leader. She's gonna get a shit job. So that's why she felt like she had nothing there, nothing back at the Fedra base. So that's why she encountered the Fireflies. Marlene recruited her. And then she finally told Ellie the truth that she wanted to spend one more night with Ellie before she has to go, before she has to leave. And then they made up and then they kissed. And Ellie convinces Riley not to leave. And then one infected person comes and attacks both of them. And this attack was really, really intense, especially since he's not a clicker, but he's still a stalker, and he's stronger than a regular infected person. So he attacks Riley and Ellie, and my biggest problem with this is you can't really tell exactly when he got the chance to bite them, you know? So that's why I was a little confused on when did he manage to bite Riley in the hand? Because I rewatched that scene and I wasn't able to catch exactly when he was able to do that. When he bit Riley in the hand, when he bit Ellie in the arm. Because in the game, you actually do know when it happened because they actually showed it. So here, it was a little weird for me because I couldn't figure out the timing of when he managed to do both of that. After Ellie manages to kill the stalker, Ellie and Riley both realize that they got bitten. And then at that point, it switched back to the present. And then Ellie decides not to leave Joel. So she tries to find something to help Joel. So she sees a sewing needle kit with thread. So she stitches up Joel. And then that's it for the present. And then we cut back to the flashback, and Ellie's breaking everything, and Riley said that, oh, there's more stuff you can break here. And the dialogue is almost word for word from the game here. So they said about option one, kill ourselves or option two, just wait it out. And they both decide to wait it out, and that's the end of that episode. So again, yeah, I thought I really love this episode because it's really, really faithful to the DLC, even though it doesn't have, the stuff where Ellie has to find medication, but still, everything to do with the mall for Ellie and Riley, I thought that was really, really well done. Um, but I can understand some people saying that it feels like filler, like this episode wasn't necessary. They could have focused on other things. I can understand that because it was DLC to the game. You don't necessarily need to play it to in order to fully understand The Last of Us, but it's still nice to see what happened to Ellie before she met up with Joel. So I love the DLC. I love this episode, so that's how I feel. But I still had some gripes about it. But now I have to talk about the preview for episode 8. I'm worried for David. So for the longest time, I had this fan casting for David. I thought it was going to be John Hawkes. I always wanted John Hawkes to portray David. I wanted this for years. Years. So when they cast this guy, and I've seen him in movies before, and he is a good actor, he really is. But I was worried because one, he looks nothing like David, and then after watching this preview, he sounds nothing like David. So that's why I'm really worried because David is a cruel, terrifying bastard. I mean, in the game, Nolan North, man. Nolan North, the voice of Nathan Drake, the voice of Desmond Miles, the voice of Deadpool from the games, Rocket Raccoon from the games, Nolan North. When I played The Last of Us and then watched the credits and I see Nolan North as David, I was blown away. Because during that time, I had no idea. I didn't know that he played David. So when I saw the credits, I'm like, holy shit, Nolan North as David? David is amazing. He is a terrifying villain. So he is one of the best parts about The Last of Us. And he is terrifying. So that's why I am worried for this show because I really want David to be pulled off very well. And even though I do like the actor, but so far, I've been disappointed with the way he looks and disappointed by the voice. I really hope he pulls it off next episode. I really hope. I'm just worried though. And it's funny because Troy Baker is in this. Troy Baker is Joel from the game, and he's playing James here. So yeah, he looks and sounds more like David than David in here. So yeah, I'm really hoping that episode 8's gonna be really, really good. But yeah, we got 2 more episodes left, guys. And so far, I'm really loving the series. And yes, I do have some gripes, mostly from the deviations from the game itself. But you know what? I'm still loving this series. I'm really, really loving it. All right, so yep, 2 more episodes. All right, that's how I feel about The Last of Us episode 7. If you've seen the episode, write down in the comments below. How'd you feel about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.